Happy Wednesday. Back with the Carolina Rippers. We're going to do a little video here that we thought would be fun. We talked about this in a couple of our breaks before about maybe doing some videos like this with just showing some of our collection, some of the cards that I collected when I was a kid. You guys that are following us on Facebook and some of the recent breaks, you know that my dad passed away on Valentine's Day. And so we thought this would be a good time to do some videos and just talk about some of the older cards in the hobby and just talk about our stories with it. We thought it'd be kind of cool to show you guys some of the old school cards. You know, you guys think they're old school. They don't seem that old to me. What do you think, Kat? I think they're pretty young. I mean, they're older than you
No,
are.
this is like super old cards.
Hey,
Like
man,
no one's ever seen them.
it's not super old. Shut up. I don't have jokes for you. But this is just cool stuff, and I apologize. My voice is a little scruffy today, but just thought it'd be kind of neat. So show you some of the guys that I liked as a kid, and my dad especially liked as when I was a kid, and we collected together. But I just want to start off with just a couple. These that we got in the back, I just think that these are some of my favorite cards from the older stuff. Steve Francis. I mean, if you guys, we're doing all basketball today. We might do some baseball and some football. But primarily as a kid, we collected baseball cards. But I always loved basketball. And this, a couple of these are just some that I picked up. My dad picked up some. I know you guys can see me. Hey, look at there. It's really weird to be able to see myself in these. But Steve Francis, man, I mean, he was incredible. We're ACC fans. I grew up a Tar Heel fan. I got to watch him just destroy the ACC for his time in college. But this is just one I picked up, I think when I was in college, maybe back in the 90s. Stadium Club '99, Stevie Franchise, as they called him back in the day for the Rockets. There, such a great player, fun to watch. It was crazy because he was really good, and then it seemed like his career was just really short. But great player. I mean, what do you think of that one, Kat?
It's a bit of a basic card, but it still looks
Yeah.
pretty good.
Back in the day, I mean, this was Stadium Club Chrome. They weren't as fancy as they are these days.
Oh yeah, they have to make it super like that one on the right, kinda.
Yeah. So this is an atomic refractor. So I'll show you the back. You can see that I know our camera's not the greatest here, but you can see up in the corner, atomic refractor, Chris Webber. This is a 96, 97, I believe. Not a rookie card, but this is a Bowman's Best atomic refractor of Chris Webber. Chris Webber, C-Web. Now, being a Tar Heel fan, I'm sorry, Mr. Webber, if you watch this video, I'm sorry for bringing this up. I know this is a tough thing for you to listen to, and it's haunting you your entire life. But as a Tar Heel fan, the Tar Heels played Michigan in the finals when Chris Webber was in college. And he made one of the most iconic mistakes in the history of college basketball. I think the Tar Heels were up by 1 or 2 points with under a minute to go. And first off, they inbounded the ball to him. He caught the ball and was trying to pass to one of his teammates and then decided to dribble. And sometimes when that happens, you take extra steps. So he walked about 3 steps, and they didn't call it. And everybody was screaming. But that wasn't it, the big mistake. He then came down the court. I think there was a couple of exchanges there. He got the ball back, and he called timeout because he got trapped in the corner. North Carolina was famous for trapping players, which is trapping is where they, two guys basically go stand right up against another guy with the ball, and they put their arms up, and they can't get away, so they trap them against the sideline. And when that happened, he called timeout. The problem was Michigan had no more timeouts. So when you call a timeout and your team doesn't have any, that's a technical foul. So it was a turnover, and they lost the championship because he called timeout. And there's a lot of controversy because he says it happened right in front of their bench. So he says he heard people yelling to him, call timeout, and that confused him. So he won't even talk about it. From the stuff I've heard, like he won't discuss it even to this day, and this is in the 90s. But I love this card. I mean, this thing is so cool. It's like a checkerboard all the way across refractor design. You can see the lines going across. That checkerboard goes all the way across. But just such a cool card. And I mean, I don't think I paid $50 for it. I think I got it on eBay cheaper than that. I can't remember. But, you know, pretty cool stuff. And then, so now I'm going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about two of my dad's favorite players. And these are definitely two of my favorite players as well. You know, I both of these guys, incredible Hall of Famers. I'm going to start with, this is two Hall of Famers. But the guy, I know it's hard to see, but the guy on the right is the one we're talking about in the really cool acid wash jeans. Mr. Shaquille O'Neal.
I've heard of that.
That's a tough one. I hope you would have. You've heard of Shaquille O'Neal, I would hope. But this is a pretty cool card because it's him and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who is one of the greatest centers of all time. Now, something I didn't notice until today, these are old school, okay? We didn't have mag cases back then. So you can see there's the card goes into this little pocket, and you had to be careful when you screwed them in place that the card was in the pocket, or you would crush the card and it could dent it and mess it up. So when I'm looking at this, if you notice, you see the top, you notice how it looks like the card is like crooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually not. If you look at the bottom, I didn't notice this, but this card is just horribly cut. I don't know if somebody cut it, or if it came that way. I didn't notice. But, you know, this card's not worth a ton anymore. It used to be worth a good bit more, but it's got that gold foil along the side, and it says one of 46,080. The first one of 46,080. So, but there's a whole set of these, and we've got the entire set downstairs in the collection with all the gold foil. And this was, I believe this was from the, this is from the 4-Sport. You can see that in the top corner there. It says 4-Sport. There was classics just for each sport, but there was also a 4-sport set. And this is one of them. So it had baseball, basketball, football, and hockey, I believe. So that's pretty cool. But I want to show you the rest of the Shaquille. So when I tell you that we were Shaquille O'Neal fans, okay, and my dad knew that Shaquille O'Neal was a once-in-a-generation talent. I mean, I liked basketball, but this is 92, 93. So in 92, 93, I was your age. I didn't know that players were great or just good or what. So back then, we would get every set that came out. This is Flear Ultra. This set doesn't exist anymore, I don't believe, but we would get the Shaquille O'Neals. So we got a couple of Flear Ultras. We got a couple of this set, which is Skybox. Skybox was a fairly new set at this time. So 5 of these. I'll show you just one of them kind of up close. But the Shaquille O'Neal rookie from that year. We got 5 of them. And I just re-sleeved all of these. Man, you should have seen the sleeves these things were in. They were turning brown and wearing out. So yeah, so we had a few of those. Let me see. What else do I have over here? We had a few. We had one for this. This is also Skybox, but they had this set for the draft. So this is his draft card, DP1. I guess this was an insert set from that same year. Look at that smirk. That was the patented Shaquille smirk. He's a pretty cocky dude, but Shaquille O'Neal was amazing. I mean, he was an incredible center. So we only had one of those. I mean, we kind of slacked there. And then we had 2 of his Topps rookie, which those look pretty good. I mean, some of these I might consider grading if they're worth some money. I haven't really looked to see how much these things are worth on eBay. A couple of them I did. The ones in the back I looked up a little bit. But those look pretty good. Two of the Topps rookies there for old Shaquille O'Neal. You see how skinny he looks back then. And then, of course, this is an iconic one I thought was pretty cool. This is Upper Deck. And these cards look really good. This black, it's got the foil at the bottom. #1 draft pick. You see it's got the 3 pictures of him. What is it? What do they call that? Interposed or something like that. I can't remember what they call that, but they got all 3 pictures on there. But here's the cool part. You actually, if I remember correctly, there were like 3 different cards. So you got this one, when they first came out and you opened the packs, you got these. And if you read this, it says, Upper Deck Company will trade you this card for NBA draft card of the overall number 1 pick in the 92 draft. Simply mail this card in a self-addressed stamped envelope, and you get the Shaquille O'Neal. So this was a redemption. This was a redemption card back in 1992. I gotta say, compared to the redemption cards nowadays, this is the coolest redemption card I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So my dad, I remember at the time, my dad and I were arguing because I wanted to keep this. He's like, that's not going to be worth anything. We want the Shaquille O'Neal. This isn't going to be worth anything. But I convinced him to let me keep one. So we had opened a bunch of packs of this, and he let me keep one. And honestly, I don't know if it's worth more or not. I would doubt it. But we sent in 2, and we got the 2 Shaquille's. And that one's 1A. This is just number 1. So pretty cool. And I want to say there was like a 1B that came out later, like in an update set. You guys tell me if you're watching this and you remember. And then here's the big one. Apparently we really liked hoops.
Oh my gosh.
Like 11 of these, I think, if I counted correctly. 11 Shaquille O'Neal hoops rookies. So apparently we really, really, really liked the hoops one. So tons of Shaqs. Pretty cool. But that's not it, Cat Dude. That's not all. What else do we have for him? Oh, well, let's see. Let's see what else we got over here.
Oh gosh, I saw the stack that you put over.
Oh, man, if you guys hear this going on. So here's another one from that 4-sport set. This is the Shaquille O'Neal by itself card that's in that set. This one cut properly. I may remag those at some point because I don't like these either. Then in the hoops, there was Magic's all-rookie team. So I do remember this too. When Shaquille O'Neal's rookie occurred, that rookie came out in that rookie year when he was a rookie. I'm saying that 40 different ways. There was one of these in each set that was worth like $300. Every one of them had one that was $300. So this one was one of them. The hoops, it looks pretty good. It's a little, the centering's not the greatest, but the card's very sharp. So there's one of them. This was another one. This was the rookie standouts from Upper Deck. RS15. We got that one. I mean, these things are just cool. You know what my favorite thing is, too? If you notice, every single one of these is a different picture. And pretty much none of them are in college uniforms. So I'm sure there's a reason for that. And again, you guys tell me in the comments why that is. But, you know, nowadays we talk about that where we're like, oh, well, here's 3 sets where they're in college uniforms. And, oh, here's the first one in the pro. Back in these days, you didn't get college uniform stuff. So pretty cool. That one's got a little bit of a white spot down there. But there's another one. Here's the Flear Ultra. This is the
You got it in the
subset.
glare.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking at the bottom. It's the Rejector.
Oh wow, that looks cool.
Yep. So they got like the little comic book kapow symbol. He was in the Rejector set as a shot blocker. There's that smirk again. The
He
Shaquille
looks
smirk.
familiar.
He looks familiar. You've seen him before. Come on.
What? I
And
don't
then
watch
there
it.
is the Stadium Club. And there's a Members' Choice card. I've got 4 or 5 downstairs. I should have grabbed those too. I don't know why I didn't. But here's another one that would go with that same collection. So pretty cool. I mean, we were huge Shaquille O'Neal fans, obviously. And rightfully so. I mean, he easily one of the best centers of all time.
Oh, that's okay.
What? Where do you know him from?
Some random meme.
Oh, wow. The kids these days. And then, of course, there's this one. So I was talking to some guys on Brothers in Cards the other day. Their Facebook page is chatting, and they were talking about the Beam Team set. And again, I remember this set being pretty cool. Back in the day, these were hard. So check it out, Kat. These look like lasers, right? You see the pattern?
Oh yeah.
It looks like today's what we would call lasers, or the Pink Velocity has that same thing. But Panini uses that same kind of a deal. But this is a Topps card. This is Topps Stadium Club.
Oh.
And this one, the centering's not fabulous. Looks like it might have a little bit of a weak corner. I probably wouldn't get this graded. But still, really cool card. There's not tons of these out there, so that one's a fun one. So, Shaquille O'Neal. All right, so the last one we're going to talk about is, I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to transition it this way to my favorite player, the actual GOAT. The greatest of all time, the greatest to ever play basketball, Michael Jordan. You don't agree? Feel free to argue. You won't win, because it's Jordan. I mean, I don't care. You're just not. It's Jordan. There's no other guy that even comes close. I know this. I've heard of this. What's his name? LeBron Jones or something. LeBron James. Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah, he's all right. LeBron's pretty good, but MJ was just another level. So again, this is a little. I think this card's a little better quality than the Shaq. But Michael Jordan obviously was our favorite player. I think I watched probably 60% of his games, and to not even be in the Chicago area, that was pretty tough. But we had a channel here that played all the Bulls games. Love Jordan. So there's the Beam team, and of course, no Jordan set is going to be complete without some of the older Flear cards. So these, this is the 98 Flear All-Star Team card. These are just iconic. I mean, if you have basketball cards, if you've been a collector for any amount of time, these are iconic cards. And look at this case, Kat. So there was different kinds. This is just a basic top loader for this 88 Flear. Mm-hmm. But check this out. This is one version of the thicker protective cases. It's just snaps together. I mean, how dangerous was this to just destroy cards? Now, this is a sticker, but this was part of the set back in 88. And this is a pretty valuable card, but you can, if you read in here, bend and peel. These were sticker cards, but they were still pretty valuable. A lot of folks had these. So I love this. Just beautiful card. Michael's iconic tongue sticking out. So Shaq was known for the smirk. Jordan was known for sticking his tongue out. And then you got, this is Jordan's second year. The 87-88 Flear. This is a really nice card. This is another one that I would probably, I might consider getting it graded. I think it's got a bit of a rough edge. I don't know. This may have a hard time getting a 9. The centering top to bottom is a little bit low. It's a little bit shifted to the right, and then that side doesn't look great to me. So I don't know that I would get this one graded, but it's interesting because the older cards, getting them graded, you can get better grades, and the grades are worth more, even if it's a 6 or a 7 or an 8, because of the older cards. There's just not as many that are mint. But I don't know. I'd maybe think about it. But of course, when you got Michael, you had to have Scotty. So here's the Scotty to go with the Michael. I love these cards. These are some of my favorites. Just your basic Flear. And again, people talk nowadays about National Treasures and Immaculate, and those are incredible cards. They really are. They're valuable. But back then we didn't have that. I mean, the base stuff like this was all there was. So it's pretty sweet to see some of that still worth good money. The last thing I wanted to show you guys, I got Jordan over here, but my dad's biggest project was putting together this 86 Flear set. This set is just amazing. Like, it had so many Hall of Fame guys. I'm just going to show you some of these. Charles Barkley. I don't know how many of these are rookies. This is a second year for him. But still, really cool card. And these are so hard to find in great shape. But there's Barkley. Julius Irving. This is who they called Dr. J. I don't know if you knew that or not, Kat. You heard that somebody called Dr. J? No, Dr. J? This dude was smooth as could be. Amazing player. And this obviously is not a rookie of his. He was in the 70s. Larry Bird. This is a beautiful Larry Bird. Great card. You got the Mailman, Karl Malone. Another nice one. Glide to Glide. But these guys, I mean, this is who my dad loved watching play. And I enjoyed watching these guys play back in the day too. And of course, Pat Ewing. This is something kind of neat. It's hard to see, but there's a print bubble. That used to be a very common defect back in the 70s and 80s, and probably into the 90s, would be these little bubbles that you'd see pop up. But I've got the rest of this set downstairs. But the one thing that I do kind of regret is we don't have a Jordan. We have every card in this set except the Jordan rookie. So I do have a little story about that. We were putting the set together, and we found a Jordan. It looked great. It had great centering. It was just an amazing looking card. And the guy wanted $500. which at the time, this is again back in the 90s, at the time, that was about the top end for that card. That's about what it was going for. It was about $500 for a good one. And my dad thought about it and thought about it. We were at a card show. Now, these card shows would be in hotels or shopping malls. This one was in a little shopping mall up just south of Charlotte. And the lighting wasn't very good. Now, this Jordan from this set, and I'll use the Barkley as an example, this was one of the most commonly counterfeited cards of all time. And there was ways that you could tell that it was counterfeit. You could see this railing in the back behind Barkley. They also have that behind Jordan. And I'll kind of show you this card because this is a similar picture to it. That awning behind him, or whatever you want to call that, the upper deck behind him right here, would be more green instead of gray. If you turn the card over, there's a little NBA basketball down here in the corner. And again, our camera is not great. It's not super high quality, so I can't zoom in and show it to you. But that basketball has little lines that go through it, like a real basketball. So when it's counterfeited, that would not have the lines. Those were the two main ways you could tell that it was not real. But the lighting was so bad that neither he or I could see very well. So we bought it. We gave the guy a check for $500, buy the card. We start driving back down to Rock Hill, where I'm from, to go to our card shop. And I'm sitting there in the car. Now that I'm out, I've got the card out in the sunlight. I can see better. I'm going, Dad, I can't see the lines on this basketball. I can't see them. And this is looking a little green to me instead of gray. So when we get to the card shop, we talked to the guys, and everybody kind of agreed, yeah, this looks like a fake. So my dad had the guy's contact info. We called him. We got him to meet us in Charlotte. My dad gave him the card back and tore up the check. To this day, still don't have a Michael Jordan. Now the card is worth thousands of dollars. Over $100,000. I mean, the really nice ones are worth a ton. I want to say I saw like a Gem Mint 7 go for
Are people
10
selling
grand or
the
more.
counterfeit ones anymore?
They probably are trying. Hopefully they aren't doing that trying to cheat people. I would hope they aren't, but I'm sure they're out there. Like I said, it was the most commonly counterfeited one of all time. But Michael Jordan's still the greatest of all time. Throw a comment up there if you want to debate it. I'm not going to go too far with it, but I'm a Tar Heel fan. I will be forever. This is another one we'll end the video with, but this is a 98-99 Upper Deck Ionics was the name of this set. These cards were really cool, and this is one of my favorite ones in my collection. This is probably my favorite basketball card in our collection. It's a mint 96. It's SGC that graded this one. But love this card. It's got the little 23 printed into the card there in the middle. Just love it. But yeah, appreciate you guys joining us for another video. This is a lot of fun, just kind of showing some of the cards from my childhood. And then just wanted to kind of do something for my dad that I think he would appreciate. It's been hard losing him. We kind of knew some of this was coming. It's been a long road, but it doesn't really make it any easier. But it's just a great thing that I get to do this with my son and pass this kind of stuff along to him and do the same thing with him that me and my dad got to do. So hope you guys have a great week. I hope you have a good weekend coming up. We'll see you again pretty soon for some Brothers and Cards, and of course more breaks on the weekend. Have a great one.